Buildaid Media, powered by builders and supported by Mix 93.8 FM and SA Garden and Home, are proud to bring you this Homeowner Workshop series. Throughout this series, we will be showcasing a wide variety of industry specialists to ensure a positive building experience. In this episode, Pieter Malherbe from Teva discusses uPVC windows and doors, their benefits such as energy efficiency and maintenance. Your host is Graham Alexander from Buildaid Media.
We also have Pieter Malherbe with us from Teva to talk about uPVC windows. Peter, thanks for joining us.
Morning, Graham. Thanks.
Little bit about Teva.
Well, it seems you set me up. New kids on the block. We haven't been around 100 years, but we're 10% there. We've been around a decade, which helps. Obviously, uPVC being considered in this industry as a new product, something that's technology pushing the boundaries. It's quite nice to have a 10-year track record already. It brings new energy to the market. It brings new technologies to the market. And globally, uPVC has been around for almost as long as these two companies and market leaders in a lot of markets. South Africa, we're pushing the boundaries and we're busy getting there.
Yeah, you said it's a relatively new product in South Africa, and I think everybody would agree that it. But you've got some installations in and around Joburg that go back 20, 30 years.
Absolutely. Some of the big German companies came here about 30 years ago, and they did installations in Cape Town, in Johannesburg, and then it simply didn't work. The market wasn't ready. Nobody cared about energy efficiency in this country. We had the cheapest electricity. It just didn't matter. So they pulled out. But the buildings are still standing, and we've got reference projects in Johannesburg and in Cape Town, 30 years old, and the technology has lasted. It's fantastic. But again, it was the right product for the right climate.
Yeah. Peter, when it comes to uPVC, as a window, I think one might be inclined to sort of say it's a plastic window, which may have negative connotations. But what is it made of? And what I'm trying to dig for here is that it's a quality product that will last.
Well, it's actually quite nice. I don't speak German, but in German it's Kunststoff. So it's synthetic stuff. If you want to translate really badly, which I'm probably doing now. But it's an unplasticized form of PVC. So it's kind of plastic, but the bad stuff taken out. So it's a synthetically engineered product that's non-conductive, it insulates beautifully, and it's made to insulate your home.
Peter, if I could just quickly intro BIM, and then I'm going to talk to you about BIM is an acronym for Building Information Modeling, and this is the way some architects are working, and they should all be working, is they're working in 3D while they're designing your home. But while that's happening, this 3D model is working out the bricks and the sand and the labor and so on. And if you wanted to put a window into that 3D model, and it had all the intelligence of that window, never mind its shape and its size, but it's also its glass, and more importantly, its energy efficiency will be built in the model. So if you put all the windows in, it'll do a calc and say this house complies. That's BIM, and it's happening. So Peter, I hope you didn't mind my intro, but I know you guys, all your products are BIM modeled.
Graham, thank you. We're fortunate enough to again, being the new kids on the block, it always brings in new ideas, new energy, and new technology. So on the BIM modeling, we've got all the products, and it's what they call smart products. So as architects, as they design homes, the products go in, and the actual program knows the performance. So it knows how well the house is insulated, and as you mentioned, it does all the calculations on the fly. So for architects to design a house and to know whether it's compliant at every step of the way, and I'm just talking windows, but it's the same with insulation in the roof, it's the same with everything else. It helps them to create smart, intelligent designs, not design a home and then come back and see, does it comply? No, it doesn't. Let's make the windows a little bit smaller. So it gives them more freedom to design better, smarter homes.
Yeah. And what comes into play for the homeowner is, as you're designing, you know it's correct, not only from an energy point of view, but also from a budget point of view. Because if things are being done manually, you could get a similar result. It's just a lot more work. The new regulations with regard to energy efficiency in South Africa, which includes windows, came out about 4 years ago, 5 years ago. So it's relatively new. And it's put a whole lot more work on the desk of the architect, because he's really got to go and work out every window, not only as a window, but in its relationship to the room it's in and relationship to the whole building. BIM now makes life easy for them because this works it out. But having said that, Swartland, even PG, and a lot of other manufacturers also assist architects that might not be completely BIM related, but the architect can send his door and window schedule to a manufacturer, and they will kindly work out all those calcs for him, which obviously made architects' lives a lot easier. It also changed technology in South Africa, because 4 years ago, you sent your drawings to manufacturer for energy calcs, they would have said, what? It's now happening. It's made it more efficient. It's also improved the drawings. Believe it or not, 4 years ago, you didn't have to have a door and window schedule on your drawings. You know, that's 60% of the info that's missing. These regulations improved that somewhat because you have to have a door and window schedule, otherwise they won't accept your drawings. We were talking about style with wooden windows, and I know with the uPVC window, my sort of perception is that it sometimes has quite a bigger section, although I'm sure wood and aluminium could do. But what kind of style does it fit into?
It's being newer technology than the traditional options that we've got. There's various styles, but inevitably the world is moving to double glazing, not just South Africa. So the sections will become bigger, be it wood, aluminium, uPVC. There is a slight move to bigger sections. So sometimes there will be styles that architects draw where a thin aluminium section would work better. And sometimes you'll have sections where uPVC or wood would work better. We've got various finishes, and that's always been something that was very prohibitive for uPVC, and you guys will see it there. So there's various finishes, and actually Belinda sitting at the back there, one of our partners that do these finishes, I'm sure she'll be outside and she can explain the technology. There's various ways you can finish the windows to get certain looks or the charcoal, and that technology has come a hell of a long way. So you will have various designs that will fit. I would say there is some limitations, and it's that thin sections where an aluminium section would absolutely be better.
If we look at the process, homeowners designing the home, the architect, at some point they're going to have to check the design, not only aesthetically, but from a cost point of view, and may have to bounce something off of you guys to say, look, do these windows conform? But at a point, there's going to be a door and window schedule that's approved, and it's the same one that should be used in the building of the home. Otherwise, it has to be resubmitted. And the reason things are resubmitted is because they weren't planned properly in the first place. If you've planned the home correctly, you stick to it. Then you guys have got to manufacture those windows to the design, and we know most homes in South Africa now have gone away a lot from using standard windows, so they mix it up with special windows and so on. So you guys make them. Who installs them?
Graham, we've got various processes depending on the projects. If it's big commercial projects, the project managers will be employed by Teva directly. So the responsibility lines are always clear and mixed. We have got subcontractors. We manage those subcontractors. So depending on where the project is, whether it's in Cape Town, whether it's here, we're running various things. Buildaid Estate in Cape Town, we're doing a whole new development there. And again, the project managers are employed by us. But of course, we need to make use of subcontractors and authorized installers as well.
Just to touch on double glazing again that you mentioned, there may sometimes be a perception that wooden windows don't come with double glazing and uPVC always comes with double glazing. We've already established that wooden windows can be double glazed. Can yours also be single glazed?
Absolutely, and that's the whole regulation. That it was actually 2011 November, so it's almost 6 years ago when the regulation came in. The insulation value of the window is dependent on the whole thing. Wood is a great insulator. uPVC is a fantastic insulator. You get thermally broken aluminium. That's fantastic insulators because it breaks the thermal flow of energy. And when you're using a frame that insulates fantastically, you can use cheaper glass. So you can downgrade the glass. And because the whole system, you've got double glazing in an energy efficient frame or single glazing in an energy efficient frame, depending on what you need for your home, you'll get different options. And yes, of course, it accommodates single glazing.
Do uPVC windows need maintenance?
The frames, no, absolutely not. But as with any moving part, yes. So any window where you've got a friction stay, it doesn't matter where it is, sometimes that friction stay will get old, it will start jamming, you might need to replace a hinge, and it doesn't matter what window or door you fit, it's fairly similar. But from a frame point of view, there's no maintenance on it.
Just to mention quality, whether we're talking about light, lamps, LED fittings, window frames, the question always pops up, how do you guess or judge quality? How do you go about it? And the two guidelines that we always use is price is probably going to give you some good indication. If something's half the price, you need to ask questions. The other indication is go with brands, with companies that have been around for years and guarantee their product. It's you pop up with a window frame you've never heard of, you might just have started planning, so you may not have heard of these guys either. Check out websites, talk to people. A brand you've never heard of and it's half the price, check it out. The demand in the marketplace for double glazing, do you find there's quite a high demand or people don't understand what it is?
Graham, I think the demand for double glazing has really gone leaps and bounds. I mean, we started 10 years ago doing double glazing, and because we were playing in a specific market, the very energy conscious market. I mean, 5 years ago, if I'd ask the audience here, who does not recycle, everybody's hand would go up. If you ask now, most of the people would recycle. So energy efficiency is becoming more and more prevalent. That's why we're talking about low E glass, double glazing. And it's always very important to look at total cost of ownership. And all the stuff that you guys do at Buildaid, yes, you're going to pay maybe 10 or 20% more for double glazing or 30%. But what's that going to do to your comfort levels? To you living in a home that's comfortable? And you're going to live in that home for 10 years. And electricity, guess what? It's going up 20% again, possibly.
Yeah.
But it never stops. So double glazing is becoming very prevalent.
The good news is that it's quite simple, whether you go for wood or uPVC or aluminium, all the manufacturers can provide for double glazing. And when you're asking for a quotation, obviously you can get both, but you're going to get a very different energy calc if you say give it to me in single glazing and double glazing, because the one performs better than the other. But just a couple of things to remember as you go out and start planning or building your home. Right up front, we showed you there's no such thing as a building rate per square meter. Buildaid has estimated the costs on over 16,000 homes in the last 30 years, and we've never had two come up the same. There's no such thing. But when you start out, unfortunately, it's sort of all you've got. But you need to get some advice from people that are qualified to give you the advice. And if they're saying, listen, allow around 9,000 or whatever it is, but you need to go into a project with a realistic budget. You can't say, here's a 4 million rand home, everybody can see it's 4 million, and you're going to do it for 2 million. It won't happen. A lot of people try that. In fact, most people try that. It can't work. Don't take advice from the wrong people. You can get advice from people like that. They know what they're talking about. Before you employ the architect, you're allowed to go and talk to 3 or 4 of them. They're not going to charge you. They're trying to get your contract. Employ the right architect. Firstly, employ him to do his job, and then have a chat to a few. It's like lawyers and doctors. You've got to feel comfortable with the person you're working with. Use technology. Make sure your architect uses technology, and go and have a look what's out there. If you haven't used or played around with a program called SketchUp, Google it. It's called SketchUp. It's for free. You'll be amazed what you can do putting concepts together. Use specialist contractors and suppliers like the companies we're looking at here this morning. A kitchen company, get them involved in the beginning. You can't start moving the kitchen around when the roof's on, because now the sink's in the wrong place, the plumber's got to move the pipes and so on. Spend time with a company like Easy Life Kitchens. They're there to help you, and it's for free. And they'll help you put this thing together. We were talking to the chaps from Easy Life Kitchens at one of the other seminars and on the radio, and they said that more than half the projects that they undertake, the roof's on and they've started plastering. That's insane. Take some time. Use specialists. Calculate the costs accurately before you go and get a quote. So the architect, hopefully a quantity surveyor or a company like Buildaid. Buildaid has a service that can estimate your costs. Estimate the costs and say, okay, now we agree this thing is 2 million rand. Then find a builder that's going to do it for 2 million rand. Don't go to tender and give it to the lowest guy. If someone comes at 1.5 million rand, it would be completely irresponsible to give him that job. You know it's 2 million. Where's he going to find the other 500,000? Employ the right contractor. He's the guy that you're going to spend the most time with, more time than your architect. You need to understand each other, like each other, and enjoy working together with each other. And then finally, use a contract and write everything down. Put a contract together and agree with everybody up front that everything's going to be in writing. Because over the 5-month period of contract, you said, I'm sure I told you to oil that thing or move this year. 5 months later, might change. And when budgets get a bit tight because we haven't planned quite right, things can change for other motives.
Thank you for joining us. If you would like to watch any more of the workshops in the Homeowner series, follow the Buildaid YouTube channel or visit our website, buildaid.co.za, where you can find the full range of our product offering. To book your seat at our next workshop, visit caxtonevents.co.za. Don't forget to tune into Mix 93.8 FM Wednesday evenings from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to listen to the Buildaid Show.